Hello everyone, it's Miss Norris and I'd like to welcome you to our third week of experiments. Before we get started though, I want to look again at our bread. It's now been 2 weeks and I'm looking, and interestingly enough, I still don't see much of a difference. But that's kind of a good thing, because if you're buying bread, you really don't want it to go to waste that quick. All right, so I'm taking a look, and like I said, I don't see much of a difference. So we'll just keep looking and see what happens. All right, so we're gonna get started with experiment number 3. This time, I wanna start doing things that hopefully you can make at home using household products. So we're gonna start with making paint. All right, so the first thing that you would need is a cover. I'm using a towel, just kind of to protect the countertop, and I'm sure your parents would appreciate protecting their countertops as well. All right, so that's the first thing. And then the materials needed to make this work. You need a mixing bowl. I have a dry measuring cup because I need to measure flour and salt. And then I have a liquid measuring cup because I need to add water. And of course, food coloring. Now, I'm choosing blue. It's one of my favorite colors. And depending on how light or dark, it determines how much of the food coloring I'm gonna put in the water. All right, and then the last few things, you need a spoon or something to stir it. And then a paintbrush to paint and something to paint on. All right, so let's get started. So the recipe is fairly easy. It calls for 1 cup of each main item. So I need a cup of flour, a cup of salt, a cup of water. I'm gonna move my paper out of the way. I'm gonna start with a cup of flour. Then I'm going to add a cup of salt. And then I have a cup of water, but I'm going to add food coloring. I want it pretty potent, so I'm making it a little dark. All right, so I'm gonna stir it. That's a nice deep blue. All right, so now here's the fun part. I'm gonna mix up the salt and flour just to make sure it all gets absorbed properly. I feel that's mixed in pretty well. All right, so now I'm gonna pour my blue water. Hopefully I've got pretty good blue paint. Now I'm gonna mix as I pour, just to see, make sure it's kind of doesn't make too much of a mess. And notice if I stir it more gently, it doesn't puff all over the place. going. And this is just to show you, you can make it as light or as dark as you like. I think that does it. All right, so now let's see if we can actually paint with it. Okay, so, I mean, it works. It makes quite a bit though, so maybe we can cut each piece of the recipe in half. So a half a cup of flour, a half a cup of salt, and a half a cup of water. And then you have a half amount of paint, because you don't need all this paint and you don't want to waste food items that might make your parents upset. All right. All right, so again, to wrap up, we found that the 1 cup of water and flour and salt makes a large amount of paint. So I'm suggesting we cut everything in half. Half a cup of water, half a cup of flour, half a cup of salt. And I'm also going to suggest that if you do it that way, don't add the food coloring yet, because once you're finished, you can add the food coloring later, and then you can make multiple colors. So, for example, if I made this without the food coloring, if I did it in half portions, I could make 2 colors. I could make a green and a blue, or whatever food coloring you happen to have in your house. All right, so my suggestion is to do your half portions first, mix everything, then add the color that you like to your mixtures. All right, so this is week 3, and I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully you can make it at home.